What is up, everybody? So, I'm here to talk about something. Well, I guess my opinion may be unpopular, and that's fine. But I am here to expose the troll community for what they are doing. And to prove once and for all that using pure, undeniable logic, that I am not what these trolls claim I am. I'm going to prove once and for all, using not just my situation, but former situations of people who have done real predatory things. I'm going to use these once and for all to show that I am not a predator. I do not talk to children like that. And that these trolls have, unfortunately, ulterior motives. You see, everybody for the last 6 years has been saying, like, he does this, he does that. But what I find very funny is this. I have asked all three branches of law enforcement the very same question. I have asked them the very same question, and I have shown them the screenshots from everything that went down. I showed them the live stream from that day. I sat down and I showed them and provided every ounce of proof that they needed to make their decision, their choice, and their decision, so that if they could arrest me, I wouldn't be able to run. They were right there. I wouldn't have anywhere to run to. And I even told them myself that if they felt that they needed to arrest me, they could. And I wouldn't fight it. I wouldn't fight them arresting me. I would allow them to take me in, and then I can go to court and fight my case. Well, all three of the branches of law enforcement said the exact same thing, that I'm not a true, that I need to be careful, more careful, of who I converse with and who I talk to. And I even asked when the FBI came out here about the whole thing with that low T guy or whoever he was. I asked those guys specifically because they didn't know who I was. So I explained my whole situation. And then they were like, oh, okay, you're him. What's going on? So I proceeded to explain my story and what I have been through and how it led up to everything. And these amazing FBI agents said the very same thing. And mind you, these were not Akron, Ohio FBI agents. These were agents from another county that came out here to talk to me and my stepdad about the whole thing because it was all over. So we literally had FBI agents from another county, not of Akron, but of another county, come out here. And I asked them, because of the nature of the situation and how they did the illegal entrapment and the way they conducted the entrapment and the sting without utilizing law enforcement or giving law enforcement a heads up, would that still fall under me being a, or would that be illegal entrapment? Those were my exact words to them. And their exact words to me were this, that you are not a pedophile, but you do need to be more careful of who you talk to. They said the only way that it could fall under is if I had attempted to meet up with one of these people under the assumption that they were underage. If they were to do that, and I were to go out to try to meet up with them, and they called the police and said, hey, we got here, get out here. If they were to do that, then yes, I could have been arrested. But given the nature of what is going on and what has happened, I am not. And trust me, the police, the FBI, detectives, all three branches of law enforcement watch me. They watch my stuff every day. They keep an eye on me every day. And I even told them, you guys can watch my stuff. I don't mind. Hell, you can even monitor me if you want. I don't mind because I have nothing to hide. And multiple times, police have said the same thing, that I'm not doing anything. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm merely trying to make the content that I enjoy making, which is my music and my artwork, and doing my gameplay videos. All three branches have been keeping an eye on me, and they have all three said the same thing, that there is something much darker going on here. Now, I asked all three branches of law enforcement, what would, like, not that I am, but what would somebody have to do to be labeled? What would they have to do in order to be able to be arrested under those, those labels? Like, what would have to happen? First off, here's how a sting really goes down. You get a hold of law enforcement ahead of time, and then you set up a sting to where that person then comes out to try to meet up with said minor. But really, that minor is an adult. And that adult then goes out, meets up with said minor, and then it goes one of two ways. Either that person gets arrested right on the spot, and they get taken to jail right then and there, or in some cases, if it's a one-time thing, the police will give that individual a warning and tell them to show up for court and this and that and the other, and they will get court-ordered help. Sometimes that does happen. It's not very often that the court-ordered help does happen, but it does happen. It's very rare when it does, but it does happen. And I said, after the officer explained to me what was going on and what would have to consist of that, I sat down and I explained the whole situation. I explained to them that these people that went after me did not contact police at all. There was no police involved whatsoever. They did not have the intention of getting me arrested by police. And that these guys on the internet were poking fun at me for falling for that and doing all this evil stuff as a result. And all three branches, 2 FBI agents, 2 detectives, and about 5 to 10 different police officers all said the exact same thing. That what I did does not fall under, it does not fall under that category. Did I make a stupid mistake by falling for what they did? Yes. But that does not categorize me. And I've even showed evidence from my former Discord that William hacked into and stole, and showed these officers that I am talking to real adults, that these people are going around sending minors my way, like literal underage kids my way, to talk to me, to try to spread their rumors of me being and the officers, matter of fact, I actually spoke with one of the officers this last time they came out here about me and my family supposedly fighting when we weren't fighting. But I asked the officer, with these people doing what they are doing in other states, by sending minors, actively sending minors my way to try to illegally entrap me, could that person get in trouble? And their response was honestly the most amazing response ever. They flat out said that not only could that person sending that minor your way, knowing they are underage, not only could they get in trouble, but potentially the underage child could get in trouble for doing this shit knowingly. Knowingly trying to ruin someone's life could get that kid in hot water. And in some cases, they could be tried as an adult, depending on the severity of what's going on. But 9 times out of 10, when an adult sends a minor to another adult to try to illegally entrap them, that adult that committed that act can get in trouble. Serious trouble. And no, Charles, I am not an actor. That whole thing, that's a lie that they use to try to be able to steal my content. That's one of their many things that they use to try to sit there and say, like, oh, he's an actor, so we have all the rights to his stuff, when really they don't. I am not with anybody. I don't associate with anybody. I have never signed any contracts at all whatsoever. The only contract I have ever signed is with my own label that I started a few years ago when I was doing music. That's the only contract I ever signed, was under my own record label that I started for me and my brothers. That's the only contract I ever signed. And that was just to get the LLC up and running. That's what that was for, was to get the LLC going so that I could release music underneath my name and not have to worry about all the external bullshit. So no, I am not a paid actor. I am not a paid vocalist. I am my own person. Despite what these people say, I am not an actor. They like to say that, but I am not that. And if you don't believe me on that, you can ask my good friend CIA Hole. My good friend CIA Hole, he will tell you the real truth, neutral, no bullshit. He will fill you in on what these guys are really about. Which, funny enough, in a way, I'm kind of glad that you brought that up, because that leads me into my next thing that I was going to speak about, which is how these trolls operate. What they did to me is one of the many tactics that they use to try and lure victims into their traps, or it's one of their more forceful traps. It's one of their more forceful ones. It's the one that they use out of desperation. When they can't get somebody the lighthearted way, they'll use more extreme measures by doing illegal entrapment stings to ruin that person's reputation, to ruin their livelihood. Also, they can make that person a target. Now, over the last few weeks, I have been doing my research on William Glory Hole. I've been doing my research on Marty's brother, John. I've been doing my research on the group on Facebook called Chance Wilkins is a Predator. I have been studying and doing my research on all 8,000 plus members in that group. I'm going to sit down for this one because this is going to be a long one. And I mean a long one, so may as well sit down and strap in for this because it's going to be long. Now, what these trolls will do is they will start off really nice. You know, they'll act like they're your friend. You know, they'll find victims that look weak or vulnerable. They'll pay attention to what that person is. You know, like what that person's into. You know, and they'll not only study that, they'll study that person's religion. They'll study, you know, what that person is into. Like me, personally, not only am I a gamer and a music artist, I'm also, you know, an anime nerd. I'm an alternative goth. You know, I fall under that category. Have had since I was a fucking teen. And yes, I am Christian. Even though I do have Jewish heritage in me, and I do have pagan and Wiccan heritage in me, and Norse heritage, I still fall under Christianity because that's what I was raised under. But they will study that stuff about their victims. They will personally study this person's likes, their habits, what they do, what they post about, what they do in general. You know, somebody like, you know, like yourself, Charles, they could sit there and they'll study somebody like you. Like, I don't know you personally, so I don't know what really you're into. But like, for example, let's say they wanted to make you a target. They would sit there and they would study your likes, your habits, what you're into, study your Facebook posts, study your Instagram posts, and they will wait it out and they will pick a specific time. And not like, you know, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. No, like they will set up a day and a time a month and a certain stream to go off of to gauge when they are going to make their plans to start targeting you. And that's what they did with me. They acted all nice at first, acted like, oh, you know, I'm your friend, this and that. You know, I'm cool with you. You're a good dude, blah, blah, blah. You know, I love your music, love the podcast, love everything. You know, keep doing your thing. And I appreciated it as somebody that, you know, used to run a podcast with a former friend of mine, as somebody that, you know, does do music, and as somebody that's been doing music from 2010 to now, and just as a content creator in general. You know, just as somebody that's done content creating in general. You know, they played on that. And they will play on that. They will offer you the world. Okay? They will be like, hey, I see your content. I love what you're doing. Let's make it better. Let's get you out there. Let's get you 100,000 subscribers. And we'll get you out there. We'll get you that silver play button. You know, or if you're doing gaming, they'll be like, yo, let's get you those sponsors. Let's do that for you. Let's get you out there. Let's get you that partnership. Let's get you that record deal. But what they don't tell you are their ulterior motives. And what their ulterior motives are, like, let's say that you're doing something like what Jacksepticeye does, or Markiplier. And they sit there and they're like, hey, let's get you 100,000 subs. What these trolls don't tell you is they want something in return. And it'll be little things at first, you know? It'll be little things at first, like, hey, why don't you come up on stream and hang out? You know, hop on my panel, we'll kick it, have a great time, have some fun, have some good laughs, crack a couple of cold ones, and just have fun. They'll do stuff like that. It starts out with little things like that. They'll be like, hey, like, because you're coming up on stream, is, you know, could you, you know, split the profit? You know, because you are a guest on my stream, I'm hosting, you know, I'm hosting the stream. I don't want you to not get paid, but I also feel like, you know, I'm owed a particular cut. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't sound like a bad deal. It really don't. You know, if anything, it sounds like a dream deal. Like, think about it, 50-50 payout for getting up on a live stream, that's pretty fucking good. But they'll do stuff like that. They will lure people in like that. And like I said, it starts with the little things like that. And then more and more, they try to change your content. Like, say you're doing gaming. Say you're sitting there playing, say, Red Dead 2 online. Or you're playing GTA 5 online, or whatever game you're playing. And you're doing good. You know, say they did that whole stream thing that got you up on panel, you did a couple interviews, you hung out, you had fun, then you go back to doing your own thing. From there, it'll be other little things. It won't seem like much. They'll probably be like, hey, you know, why don't you throw this in? You know, why don't you throw this into your stream when your stream has nothing to do with what they're wanting to throw in. And they'll make it look like the game that you're playing isn't very popular, or, you know, the music you're doing isn't very popular, or the artwork that you're doing isn't popular. They will do anything they can to discredit what you are doing. They will do everything they can to discredit what you are doing. They'll be like, oh, you know, this isn't very popular. Maybe you should try doing this. You know, maybe you should try doing this kind of content. And 9 times out of 10, it's the content that they want you to do. Which 9 times out of 10 usually equals out to somebody raging out, somebody getting mad, or somebody doing something to make themselves look bad. And at first they'll be like, oh, just remember, it's just an act. You know, people don't want to see gameplay. They want to see you freaking out. They want to see this. They want to see you get, you know, do fake rage outs. And that's how they operate. Like, and that's what they did with me. They sat there and made me believe that me doing my content wasn't popular. And so I went about my own thing and I did my own thing in a different way, which it ended up becoming popular. But then what they'll do is if they don't get what they want with you that way, they will resort to extreme measures. They will resort to measures that are not legal. They'll resort to measures that will make you look bad, that will ruin your life, that will ruin your, you know, if you have a job, it'll ruin your work life. Like, these people do not play around. They will do whatever it takes to ruin your life. With me, they chose to go the making me look like that. Because they knew that by doing that, which, like I said, that's one of their more extreme routes, they will use that to discredit you and to isolate you. Like I said, if they can't get you by being nice, they will start to do forceful things here and there. And eventually that force becomes more and more and more prominent and more harder to ignore. And they will go to that extreme. And when you start fighting back like I've been fighting back, they will try to ruin your life. They will do whatever it takes. Like, say you don't go that route. Say that you don't give them what they want. They will then track down your information, find out where you live, find out who your family members are, find out who your friends are, where you work, and they will start attacking those. They will start by calling up your work, saying this, saying that, harassing you at work, or they'll start contacting your family and making up fake news and fake stuff about you to discredit you and ruin your life. And like with me in my case, they will take it to that extreme to get what they want by making Facebook groups, Discord groups, by making it hard for you to speak out against what they are doing to you. And that's how these people operate. They will go to whatever lengths they feel necessary to get the kind of reaction that they want. Because 9 times out of 10, trolls don't want gameplay footage. They don't want, kind-hearted vlogs like what I do. Because me, I love doing vlogs. I like showing people my real life. I like showing people, hey, this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. This is what I'm really about. I'm not out here bothering nobody. I'm out here minding my own business, playing video games, watching TV, and working on artwork and working on music. Like, that's the kind of content that I like to show. I love to show that kind of content. I love people being able to see who I am when I'm not being harassed or attacked or being bothered. I love doing that kind of content. Honestly, it's one of the realest forms of content that you can put out there is doing vlogs and showing your daily life as a person. Because your followers get to see who you are as a human being. They get to see what you do on a day-to-day basis, which is why I love that content so much. I've been doing vlogs for as long as I can remember now. Some of my most favorite vlogs were the ones that I did with my best friend Jake, who everybody knows as Hillbilly Jake. I miss doing content with that man because that dude is one of my best friends. And yes, me and him may not talk, but I still consider him my little brother. I will always consider him one of my best and closest friends. Always. But like I was saying, the trolls, they don't want to see that content. They don't want to see good content. They don't want to see, success from their target. What they want to see is their targets raging out, getting mad, doing stuff like what's his name? Angry German Kid, Angry Gamer Nerd, Angry Grandpa. That's the kind of content that they want to see. They don't care how they have to elicit that content. They will do whatever they need to do to make it happen. They genuinely do not care about your feelings. They don't care what you want. They don't care what you want to do. They only want what they want, and they will do whatever it takes to get what they want. Even if it means ruining your life, ruining your social status, ruining whatever you got going on, getting you fired from your job, they do not care. Even if they have to elicit acts of violence, they don't care. They will do what they need to do to make it happen. And as sad as it is, as much as, nobody really wants that, that's what they do. That's how they get their reactions. That's how they do what they do. Well, yes, there are times, like, with what I've dealt with, that sometimes you do have to go off and get mad. You do have that right to stand up for yourself. And that is something I have always stood behind. But can I back it up? 1,000%, dude. 1,000% I can back it up. There's been three different incidences where people have showed up to try to do harm to me, and all 3 times I stood up and I stood my motherfucking ground. Now, whether you get your ass kicked or not, it don't matter. That's irrelevant as fuck. The fact that you are standing up for yourself is what truly matters. But as I was saying, that's what these trolls want. They want the violence. They want the chaos. They want the hatred. They want to spread hatred, misinformation. They want to spread defamation and slander when you don't do what they want. And me, I am on the most hated list of the trolls. I am hated by the trolls, and I am glad that I am hated by the trolls, because I'm standing up and being the voice for those like myself who have been victimized. Why? Because I believe in standing up for what's right. I believe in not only defending myself, but honoring those that have passed and getting revenge and justice for those that have unfortunately taken because they weren't strong enough to handle the trolling. I represent those motherfuckers. And I will continue to represent those people. I will continue to represent those. I will continue to be the face of the people that get trolled. I will continue to fight that shit no matter what it is. And that's a huge reason as to why the trolls want to silence me. Because they know that I am telling the truth. And they don't like that. These trolls do not like that I am speaking out against them. They hate that I speak out against them. That's why they laugh at me. That's why they try to poke fun at me. Yo, Bombs, what up, man? Hey, yo, Bombs, just a heads up, bro. You are going to have to hit me up on Discord, man, because surprise, surprise, I'm banned for a week for speaking my piece. So, surprise, surprise. I know, surprise, right? I speak the fucking truth and I get banned for it. Go figure. Go fucking figure, right? I sit here and I speak out against what's going on, and they find something stupid to get me banned for. So, I ain't bothered. It is what it is. But, like I said, y'all, this is what these trolls do. This is the stuff that I spoke about is what they do. Why do you think they fucking laugh at me? Because they want me to be discredited. That's why these trolls have gotten so scared that they have literally built a campaign on Facebook. These guys have literally built a group around 7,000 plus other trolls to try to shut me up. And still, they haven't shut me up yet. Still. And there's 7,000 of those motherfuckers in that group. Well, 7,000 plus, I should say. There's literally 7,000 plus of these motherfuckers in that group, and they still haven't managed to shut me up yet. And they're never going to. Because as I said, I will continue to speak out against what they're doing, because what they are doing is wrong. Not only is it morally wrong, but a lot of it, like what they've done to me, is felonies. Federal felonies, to be exact. Like sending an improvised explosive device in the form of an old Xbox One to my house, trying to set torch to my family's van, trying to turn that into an IED, aka an improvised explosive device. For those of you that don't know what an IED is, an IED is short for improvised explosive device. But they've tried to do that. They've even literally tried to do an assassination attempt on me. I was literally trying to see that window right there? This window right here? I was shot at through that about 6 years ago. I was shot at through that window. I literally had it all my life. The bullet went through that fucking windowsill right there. Like this window right here. I was shot at through this window. The bullet went through the windowsill into my mattress. So yes, I have had all my life. That's how much these trolls hate me. That's how badly they want me dead. Because I am speaking the truth, and I am disrupting and throwing a wrench in the gears of what they're trying to do. And guess what? I am proud of what I am doing. I am proud that I am speaking out against this shit. Because no one deserves to get... I don't care who you are. No one deserves to get online or in real life. And no one sure as hell doesn't deserve to lose their job, to be labeled as something that they are not. No one deserves to have to live in fear. Hence why I have taken it upon myself to work alongside law enforcement, to work alongside the ADL, and to work alongside various other organizations to put a stop to this by telling them my story and explaining what I've went through. So yes, I will continue to be that soldier. I will continue to be that voice. I know what people are going to say with that soldier comment. Oh, you're claiming false valor. No, I'm not. Even though my dad is a piece of fucking shit and I cannot stand him, when he raised me, he was in the military, which makes me an army brat. I was literally born an army brat. Therefore, I have automatic connection to that lifestyle. Because I was raised as an army brat my entire life. I was raised that way. I was raised that even if you're not in the military, you still stand up for what's right. And if you're a military, this is something that they don't tell you when you're in the military. This is something that they do not tell you. That when you sign up for the military, and like say that your brother or your sister takes that oath, they get into the military, they go through basic, they go through PT, they do everything they need to do, right? They get through PT, they get through basic, and they, get shipped out. And, they take that initial oath. When they take that oath, not only are they taking that oath, your family is taking that oath as well. Whether you realize it or not, you're taking that oath right along with them. Anything that you do will reflect on your family member. Like, say that, you do bad in school, or you get into a fight, or something is going on at home. That reflects on your family member who's in the military. Whether it's your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, it don't matter. If something wrong is going on at home, that affects your family member and their military life. That affects what they are doing, because that makes them look bad. That makes them look bad. While yes, my dad has been retired for many years now. That is true. Is he dead to me? Yes. But the dad that I was raised around was in the military. That was my dad. This person that he is now, I don't know him, want nothing to do with him. So to me personally, this version of my dad that is out there now, that is drunk, hanging out with the trolls, doing stupid shit, that version of my dad is not the man that I once knew. To me, I don't know who that man is. To me, that man is a nobody. That version of my dad is not my dad. My dad that raised me when he decided to turn tail, my dad, my father figure, lives back in Florida and was one of my teachers when I went to Roosevelt. That was my teacher. My teacher, that was my father figure. And I'm still good friends with that man to this very day. I still call him dad. I still talk to him on the phone every fucking day, checking in with him, seeing how he's doing. And let me tell you right now, my father figure, he watches all my videos. He watches everything I do. And let me tell you right now, he's very fucking proud of what the fuck I'm doing. Because I'm doing something that not many have the balls to do. I am standing up for what is right, and I am doing what needs to be done. Now, is he okay with how I go about it? And some of the stuff I say? Not necessarily, but he sees what I'm doing. He sees the end result of what I'm doing. He sees my vision and what I'm trying to do, and he's proud of that. So to my father figure, love you, old man. But like I said, this is what these trolls do. This is what they are about. They are about carnage, negativity, hatred. They want to spread hatred as much as they can. They don't like when their victims fight back. Why do you think I'm number one on their list? Because of the fact that I am fighting back. Because I am not sitting still and just letting this shit happen. I'm not sitting here and being like, oh, woe is me. Don't bother me. No. I'll do what you want. Just leave me alone. I don't do that shit. No. When I reach out for help and I'm broken and I'm in that moment and I am truly at my breaking point and I am reaching out for help, it is because I want help to shut these people down. These people are evil, they are vile, and they are disgusting. And I've sat here and I've watched way too many innocent people get hurt by this very same group that has harassed me for the last 6 years. And I will not sit here and sit by and stand by and watch while these motherfuckers get away with torturing innocent people. I won't do it. I am glad that I am number one on their list. because that means that I have power over them. They don't have power over me. See, these trolls think that they live rent-free in my head. I live rent-free in theirs. And you want to know why? Because during the day when I'm doing my job and I'm working on vlogs or I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm not thinking about them. When I'm over here hanging out on Facebook, when I'm not being banned, when I'm over here hanging out on Facebook and I'm hanging out with my friends, my family, my extended family, my loved ones, when I'm over here doing that, I'm not thinking about them. I'm over here hanging out and kicking it with my people. I'm thinking in the moment. I'm in the moment. I am present. I am here. I'm not worried about what Joe Schmo, William Glory Hole, or fucking John are fucking doing or planning. I'm not worried about that. I am living in the moment, living my life. I'm not sitting here going, how can I get back at these guys? How can I do this? Let me show you something. Over the last few days, I have been working on a plan. And mind you, my handwriting is not the best, so I do apologize. I have 3 pages of a plan here. All 3 of the next pages are plans for me, for this whole next year, for not just now, not just today, but for the next 6 months to the next year and beyond. All 3 pages. Remember, let me give you guys, if you guys can't read that, let me read some of this off to you. Facebook control security, which I got that under control. I got all that under control, so I'm not gonna read that off. Let's start with, the starter plan. Let's call it the starter package for getting your life back, if you will. Especially if you're in my situation. No panels for the trolls, meaning you don't get up on panels with them, you don't engage with them, you ignore them. No matter what they do, you do not get up on panel. Control content, meaning if there's a troll in your comments, ban them, get rid of them, block them out of your shit, and regulate who gets to see your content. Build real support, meaning, with your fans, your supporters, your friends, your family. Legal support, definitely get you some legal support. I'm currently working on that part myself. I'm currently working on trying to get legal support, especially with as violent as everything has gotten. Expand platforms. Don't just stick to one platform. Like, say you're on, for prime example, say you're on Twitch. For prime example, say that your main platform is Twitch. You want to expand out everywhere. You want to expand over to Kick. You want to expand to YouTube, Facebook Live. You want to expand over to TikTok, Rumble. You want to hit all the bases. Right here, battling trolls. These are the 8 steps that I'm implementing personally. 1, hire PR/manager/agent, meaning hire a representative, a PR team, if you will. And then you definitely want to try to get your hands on a manager or an agent who can help you combat what's going on, to help you manage your social media. That way, if you're away doing something, they can handle whatever needs to be handled. Think like the trolls 3 steps ahead, meaning if the trolls are planning something, you gotta think 2 to 3 steps ahead. Like, if they're trying to get you on panel, like, take the other day. All right, take example with what happened with me the other day. The other day, Marty's brother John tried to make it look like he was building a bomb, right? And he got me on panel and got me to call the FBI. I reached out to let them know, like, hey, this guy's potentially making a bomb because he made it look that way. But now that I know what's really going on, I know to think 2 to 3, 4 steps ahead. I know how to outsmart him. I know how to outsmart the trolls now because of that situation. Reach out for help, which plays into that. If something's going on, reach out for legal help. Reach out to your support system. Reach out to all of that. And if you don't have a support system, get one. Whether it's friends, family, whether it's fans that watch your content, create that support system. Now, here's the whole 1 year plan. 0 to 3 months, set up the team, which is what I'm working on. I'm working on setting up my team for management, PR, all that. 3 to 6 months, hire a PR team. That's when you start setting up your PR team. 1 year plus, counteract the trolls, meaning anything negative that they say, you counteract with calmness, or you let your manager or your agent or whoever is managing, your content at the time to dispel rumors and all that shit. And then at the very end, this kind of goes into the 1 year thing. Restore credibility and rebuild trust and image. So like if they did with you like they did with me, you want to rebuild that trust. You want to show people that you're not like what these people have made you out to be. Now, this third page is basically is going over the same thing, but it breaks it down into high detail. Like 1 to 3 months security setup, which is what I've already started working on as of yesterday. Meaning, you want VPNs, you want data encryption, you want everything, which is what I'm currently working on. 3 to 6 months. Engage with fans and slash hang on guys. Hang on guys, I'll be right back. There's something going on. What's going on? Stop. It's okay, bud. It's just a silly trash man to get in the garbage. Sorry about that, y'all. Had a freaking trash panda trying to get into the goddamn trash downstairs. Had to chase it off. Fucking trash pandas, man. Hate those things. I love them, but I hate them at the same time. Alright, now. Now, right here, let's get back to what we were saying here. 3 to 6 months, engage with fans / legal steps, meaning you want to take every step available to legally protect yourself. 6 to 10 months, maintain interaction, meaning maintain interaction with your fan base, ignoring the trolls. You know, simple stuff. And 10 to 12 months, rep / reinforcement, meaning like you want your basically you want everything set up at that point. Like you want your PR team, your legal team, like you need all of that set up at that point. And then down here I have a list of a couple, like 3 different companies or foundations that I'm not going to name off right now. I'm actually going to be doing that in a private video. I'm going to be doing that in a video later on down the road, talking about that. And then if you are going through what I'm going through, this is a very important thing for you guys. Gather evidence and get legal help. That is literally important. Like, you want to start gathering as much evidence as you can and get the legal help that you can. That's what I've been doing. But if that right there does not show that I'm actually about my shit, that I'm actually about protecting myself and my family, then what the fuck does? Like I said, I'm not out here fucking with nobody. I'm about doing my job. And, you know, but hopefully this video kind of gave you guys a little bit of insight on how the trolls operate, what they do, how they do things. And hopefully this gives you guys, you know, some steps that you guys can take to hopefully, you know, start on the right track. Get you an agent, get you a manager, you know, do something. You know, do something that, you know, will help your career. And hopefully this kind of gives you an insight on what to look out for as far as the trolls go. Because I know that a lot of people think that, like, that trolls are unmanageable, but they are manageable. You just gotta know how to do it. And me having 6+ years of experience, even I'm still learning how to manage it. I ain't perfect. I'm still learning. So, but hopefully, you know, that little bit of insight on how they operate gives you guys a good look at what they do, how they operate on that level of extremism, how they start out, how it can get pretty scary to say the least. But with that being said, I will catch you guys later. I got work to do. And yeah, peace.